It is such a joy to be here at Vidyapeeth. I get energized when I come here. There is so much positive energy here. As I told you last time, a big yajna is going on. Those who will participate joyfully will, naturally make it to the feet of the Lord. Swamiji has said this, Karma Yoga is like that. You never know its effects, but finally you will see you are on the lap of the Lord. Those who work for the Lord attain Him. So this is an easy means for many, many people, because most of us can actually do karma, mainly action, and if you offer it, put it at the feet of the Lord. If you do good work, it's an automatic way to go to Him, spontaneously, naturally. So we are very, very proud of Vidyapeeth. In fact, when I visited the classes, it felt quite unbelievable what is going on here. And so many students are imbibing these values, and especially from teachers like these, endowed with devotion. This is a remarkable thing. Today we are going to discuss a few devotional practices for everyday living. See, there is no real knowledge or you can say spiritual liberation, yoga, anything without devotion. Devotion is the mother of knowledge. Who said this? Devotion is the mother of knowledge. Raman Maharshi said this. And who said bhakti shar? It is the essence of life. Who said this? Thakur said this. It is the very essence of life, devotion. So, how to have this devotion, and on an everyday basis, what can we do to cultivate the inner devotional life? This is what we will discuss. Devotion is actually flow generated for the divine. You know the concept of flow, isn't it? If that happens spontaneously for the divine, that is bhakti. So flow is a state where your mind naturally and spontaneously moves towards something in deep engagement, and you lose the sense of time. And it's a spontaneous thing, so you are not putting in so much conscious effort. The mind is just tuned to that. So if this happens for the Lord, it is bhakti. One of the beautiful definitions of bhakti is Shrutasya bhagavad dharma dharavahikam gataha sarvesha manovrittaya bhakti iti abhidiyate. This is from Bhakti Rasayana, Madhusudan Saraswati. He says that Shrutasya bhagavad dharma, when you hear about the Lord, dharavahikam gataha sarvesha manovrittaya. If all the vrittis of your mind, the different thoughts or modifications of your mind just rush towards Him. Not just one vritti after another, not like in yoga, you're replacing one vritti, not like that. The entire vritti samuha, the whole mind rushes towards the Lord and merges at His feet. Then that is bhakti. So it is a complete absorption in the divine that we are calling bhakti. See, this state is the fulfillment of life, because after all, what is our emotion, our thought, our mental life, our body, our actions meant for? Tell me. In the evening of our lives, we'll understand they were only meant for God. And everything else was a means towards that. Everything else in our lives, whatever is around you, your work, your family, your career, your money, everything is meant for that. So finally, if it moves towards Him, the whole mind moves towards Him, that is the fulfillment of life. And bhakti gives so much of satisfaction, fulfillment, that you can't actually compare it with anything. It is the highest level of happiness possible for the human mind to have. That is why Thakur said bhakti sar. So how to generate these states of mind? That is the whole point. In bhakti sadhana, it is very helpful even for jnana sadhana. Because once you are able to generate this state of mind for Sagun Brahman, for God with form, with name, with attributes. See, subjectively what has happened? Your mind has developed love for God. It will also, that same mind will also flow towards Nirgun Brahman, because that is his aspect only, So it helps in the Jnana Marg also. The mind is the same. You don't get a special mind when you practice meditation or Jnana Yoga. The same mind. So the purpose of bhakti is it will take you towards the ultimate end of life. Only thing is bhakti should not become narrow and dogmatic. You must take care of that. If that happens, it will boil down to something very ugly. Today it's called fundamentalism. So that should not happen. It should remain pure, it should reach its destination. That's the whole point. Now, how do we practice this bhakti sadhana? See, if you install the Lord in your heart, there will be bhakti in your entire system. There are such beautiful stories in our Purana scriptures to tell this. If you just install the Lord in your heart, you will get transformed. Once in the high heavens where the gods live, there are these periodic quarrels between the Devas and the Asuras. Yes? So the Devas and the Asuras fought and fought and fought, and finally this time the Asuras won. And they chased the Devas out of heaven. And all the gods went to Vishnu and told him, "Oh Lord, help us. This Asura is now sitting on our throne and we are being thrown out of the heavens. Now what do we do?" And Vishnu said, "I myself am wondering what I should do. Suppose he comes to Vaikuntha, what will I do? Where will I go?" So they all went to Shiva, including Vishnu. And they told him that, "Lord, where do we hide? They can come any time, because now they are the lords of all the 5 elements. They are the lords of the heaven, and they are reigning over everything. So what do we do? Where do we hide?" So Shiva told Vishnu, "Look, you do one thing. This Asura, he will search for you in all places. But there's one good thing about him. He never looks within. So you go and hide in his heart. He won't know. He'll never find you." So that's a good place to hide. So Vishnu thought, "Oh, he's right." So all the other gods went and hid in the ocean and in the mountains and different places where they were found. But Vishnu went and hid in the heart of the Asura king. And that guy never looked inward. So he never found Vishnu. He searched and searched in Vaikuntha. See, the nature of the Asura is they only look outward. They never look inward. So he never found Vishnu. And then he thought, well, that this great power is still working against me. And I can't find him. Now what will happen to me? But you see, now when Vishnu is in his heart, can he remain an Asura? So over time, in the next few months, suddenly this Asura got transformed, Good thoughts started coming to his mind. And his mind started telling him, you're a very bad guy. Why did you chase them out of heaven? How could you do that? You should share, care, kindness, compassion. These are the values you should adopt. So it felt so unlike him to himself. But because the Lord was now in his heart, and gradually this Asura so transformed that he welcomed the Devas back into the heavens, gave Indra back his throne, and quietly receded to his kingdom, to the nether world, because now Vishnu was in his heart. So what they mean to tell us is by these stories if you install the Lord in your heart, nothing negative will remain in your life. All negativity will go. Which means if there is bhakti, the amount of emotional balance, the harmony you feel within your system, the emotional intelligence you will manufacture, the spiritual intelligence you will manufacture. If only the heart is awakened to love of God, if God is installed there. God can take many forms, It can be Vishnu, it can be Ram, it can be Krishna, it can be Jesus, it can be a high ideal, it can be the impersonal, it can be light, it can be Om. It can be anything, but essentially the divine. And if your energies are devoted there, you have raised vital energy to a certain level, naturally your consciousness will transform. So the way to all higher knowledge and yoga and everything is bhakti. That's the great secret I'm telling you. Yes, even great jnanis, you see their lives. Look at Swamiji. Looking at Swamiji's face, Thakur used to say, can he be a dry jnani? His face and his features are just exuding love, bhakti. And Swamiji was like that, a rough exterior of jnana, and inside it was all bhakti. He was melting in devotion. Take the case of Brahman Maharshi. When he would speak or he would hear the lives of these alvars and namalvars, all the devotional saints of Shaivism, he would be weeping like a child, this great Jnani. So the point is, bhakti is really Jnana Mata. And that is why this sense should come into us. See, we have a deep emotional life. It should become a deep devotional life. Unless you make this transformation within yourself, it is difficult to practice any yoga, any spiritual discipline. Because a huge chunk of your mind will be engaged in all sorts of emotions, isn't it? So turning it towards God, somehow manufacturing bhakti, the really intelligent will do it. Because a large part of your vital energy is invested there. Whether you like it or not, it's like that with the human psyche. So we better learn to collect that energy and put it where it deserves to be, at the feet of the Lord. So the first thing about bhakti sadhana, that is why, is adopting sattvic ways of life. What do we mean by that? See, we have a combination of gunas in our system. Whether we like it or not, it's like that. Based on our sanskars, there's a combination of sattva, rajas and tamas. Once your survival needs are satisfied, once you are well established in life, try to make that life more and more sattvic. The meaning of that is more harmonious within yourself, more inward turned. The senses are getting really devotional food right from morning. Ahar is a very interesting word in Sanskrit. Ahar is not just what you eat. Ahar is what you take in through the senses. Your eyes, all of them, you feed the mind with it, isn't it? What you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch, everything is ahar for the mind. Aharati iti ahara. So when you take in these sense objects, make them sattvic. Instead of seeing all sorts of movies, see devotional movies. Instead of hearing all sorts of music, hear devotional music. Instead of just working your everyday activities, cooking, whatever you do, driving, do it for the Lord. Make it an offering at the feet of the Lord, mentally. Do it for Him. Do it for the divine in everyone. You'll see it will have transforming effect on you. It is a yoga then. It becomes a yoga. Karma becomes a karma yoga. So this is the meaning of turning everything into sattva. sattvic. Unless we do this, when we were novices, we had every second of our life was regulated. With some bhav you have to do it. You just can't subconsciously keep floating somewhere. Everything in life is meant for the divine. So every thought, every emotion, every act goes in His worship. Try to make it like that and see how fulfilling the experience will be. After all, we are meant for Him. Our vital energy belongs to Him. And all the experiences of your life, they are meant to take you to Him. Yes. So that is why, if consciously we can practice this, by making life more and more sattvic, you will see as you grow older, this will be such a blessing to your life. You are happy and fulfilled by yourself. That hungry look on the face and aching heart will be absent from your life. It is such a life of contentment and fulfillment within. The life in bhakti. I stay close to Vrindavan and I have seen so many thousands of doctors and engineers and well-established people in Delhi going and spending the evening of their lives in Vrindavan. They buy a small place, only a life of sadhana and bhakti. So fulfilling. If you go on that Vrindavan Parikrama early in the mornings, you will see by 5 o'clock all the temples are open, loud chants and arati is going on, and how absorbed they are in that devotional service to the Lord. So bhakti is a very real thing. It's the impact it leaves on your mind. You can't compare that. It's incomparable. So manufacture these states of mind. They are so fulfilling. Why should you miss on them? First thing is, that is why in bhakti sadhana, sattva is important. The sattvic life. Without sattva, when you practice bhakti, what happens? All kinds of thoughts come to the mind, or you will fall asleep, or you won't like it anymore. Not liking spiritual practice or sadhana is due to the lack of sattva. Absorption is due to sattva. When the life is made sattvic, the mind relishes such things. You take delight in it. And your thoughts will be so orderly, so you know the purpose of your life. It's meant for the Lord, whatever you do. Isn't it a great blessing, you tell me, whatever stage of life we are in? Bhakti is the ideal, always. If you have enough bhakti, this jnana sadhana, this inquiry and all. Yesterday, some of you were in BSNY. You were hearing all about the science of consciousness, isn't it? That will become so easy, The inquiry will be fruitful because it is backed by this kind of a complete, you can say, fulfilled emotional life. It has all become devotion within you. Thakur used to say this, the worship of the Sakar, Saguna aspect of Brahman, that is why it is the first step, it's important, he used to say. Then you will realize the Nilakar. So these are the steps which our great teachers of the Bhakti tradition have given us. The sattvic life. Second is, Bhakti sadhana requires some form of seva towards the divine. There cannot be bhakti without seva. Love is what love does, isn't it? So what do you do with your hands and with your entire vital energy in your system? What do you do with it? That is important. So some form of seva. Even if you can't do a whole puja, I heard here you even learn puja. That is so heartening. Because even in India, many times people, this is the excuse they give, they don't have time for puja. So at least 10 minutes a day, some form of offering to the divine, one arati, something you can do. Some way you connect with the divine consciousness. And the joy it will bring into your life. Do you know what the joy of puja is like? At the end of the puja, you always feel fulfilled as if everything has been done. When I used to perform puja for many years I have done puja. I always used to get that feeling at the end of the puja that more than this I don't want anything else. It was so fulfilling. Why? You are making every offering to the divine. Isn't it? In the puja, one by one the items you offer to the divine. What else do we want? So some form of seva, if you can bring into your life, it will be a very fulfilling experience. It is the way to relate to God. And He is very happy with that. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yume bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upaharitam ashnami. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Even if you offer just a leaf, a flower, one fruit or water, if you don't have anything else, I will be satisfied with that. With that bhav you should offer. The bhav is the most important thing. Bhavagrahi Janardhan. He accepts your bhav through that medium. So what else will you do? See, when you sit before the all-powerful ruler of this world, who dictates the destinies of jivas, what will you offer Him? Whatever you have is His. He gave it to you. When children want to celebrate the birthday of their dad, what do? Give me something and then I'll go and buy whatever I want and give it back to him. Isn't it like same thing we are doing? Same thing. Everything we have belongs to Him. So now with all my love and devotion, I will offer it back to Him. Every day when you do this, it is such a deep emotional involvement with the divine. It will refresh you, refresh your mind. So, seva is an important anga of bhakti. Everywhere where there are temples, there will be provision for seva. Seva kunj will be there. Wherever there is a shrine. So, make it part of your life. In your own way, whatever you wish, in 10-15 minutes of small puja, small offering, aarti, something like that you should keep in your life. This is the second important thing about bhakti. The third thing is, Thakur used to say very clearly, he says, how to generate bhakti? He says, satsang and sadhu sang is very important. He says this, isn't it? Why? In the presence of a mind which is devotional, you will understand that is the most important thing in life. I always tell parents who have little children at home, let them see the ideal in you. You don't have to say it, you don't have to teach it. Let them see it. It's a very responsible thing to be a parent, isn't it? So like that, if you can remain in the presence of a person endowed with these qualities. If not, YouTube is there. Suppose you don't get such people. At least here, of course, you get them. But there are places where devotees are yearning for some kind of a place like this, where they can come together and discuss about the Lord, share each other's company. This satsang and sadhu sang is very, very important. It impacts the mind like nothing else. So if you can do that, you will get those qualities. Thakur has mentioned this. Company of the good and the holy. And if that is not available, the Shastra is there, books are there. And there are various means today to somehow connect. But on an everyday basis, if these things can be practiced, these vrittis can be had in our mind, practiced in our mind, it is very, very helpful for the higher life. And you must make sure the opposite vrittis are kept at a distance. That is also important. What sucks away our bhakti is the worldly bhavs. strong passions and all kinds of anger and hatred and shadripus. These take away these beautiful bhavs from our mind. So keeping them at a distance. How do you keep them at a distance? By deliberately engaging your senses in good stuff. Deliberately, consciously, willfully. Rishikena Rishikeshasya Sevanam Bhakti. This is a definition from Narada Pancharatra. When you have engaged your senses in the worship of the Lord of the senses. That is Bhakti. So, see, the senses are very important. You know why? They carry all the food to the mind. Your thoughts, if you see what creates your thoughts, you will see it is your sense intake and the unfoldment of your memories. These two keep your mind busy. So if you regulate sense intake, a large part of your thought world will be very refined, very pure and nice. You feel good within yourself. This is a wonderful psychology which you should know, very important for bhakti sadhana. See, we take in sense impressions and they create the thoughts of our mind. Because what you see, what you hear, suppose you saw a movie today. For the next 1 week, you were brooding over the different scenes of the movie. You were thinking of that. So whatever you are taking in through your senses is becoming your thought content, the thought world. And not just that much, when you repeat those vrittis in your mind, they will go into your subconscious mind and become sanskars. Your subconscious impressions, mental impressions, which are very, very important. And after a long time, when you have forgotten about that sense intake, that object, these sanskars will sprout back in your conscious mind as memories. So this is the connection between conscious thought, subconscious impression and memory. Your conscious thoughts become your memories. See, it's a recycling of the thought process. Are you getting it? This is from yoga psychology. Whatever you consciously and repeatedly think will get into your subconscious and become sanskars. Sanskars don't just stay put there. They will manifest in the conscious plane again after some time. And they blossom forth in your conscious mind as memories. This chakra keeps your mind busy always. It all starts with Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sankaste Shopajaya. The whole sequence is beautifully traced in Bhagavad Gita. It all starts with sense intake and thinking about what you have seen, what you have heard, what your memories are, all this. So if you want to change your thought world, the thoughts in your mind, you must take care of these factors. What is it that creates my thoughts? What do I repeat in my mind? And what do I allow to become a sanskar? And finally, how I handle my memories. This entire psychology is very important during sadhana, to know sadhana. Another thing about bhakti sadhana is, see, you may have all the good company, you may be doing some amount of devotional practice, you also have seva vritti, you are doing karma yoga, you are doing seva for the Lord. But remember one thing, without regular spiritual practice, meditation, scriptural reading, gradually our sadhana, the momentum may go down over time. You started doing things mechanically now. Because it's like a routine you are going on with. Many people do japa like a routine. It has to be done 108. Finish it and keep it in bus. You're busy with something else. So how will that get you any benefit? So see that there is bhav in it. And for that, you must keep up spiritual practice on an everyday basis. Our free time, see, if the mind is calm and very controlled, you will always find time for the right things. It is our restlessness that consumes our time. Have you seen? When the mind is very erratic and disordered, you have no time. If it's very ordered and calm within, you will have time for the right things. You will make time. We make time. So, spiritual practice has to be kept up. Meditation, very important. Let me tell you one beautiful incident from Thakur's life. He himself is instructing us. He says, this incident, it actually happened in Dakshineshwar. Swami Vishuddhananji Maharaj, one of the presidents of Ramakrishna Math. When he was once visiting Dakshineshwar, long back, sometime maybe in the 1960s or 70s, this might have happened. Or even earlier, maybe 50s. So when he was visiting Dakshineshwar, there was this old man sitting in that, there's a small path from the Panchavati to Nahabat. You remember, those of you who have gone there? A small pathway-like thing. With some stones, and there are thorns and bushes around. This side is the Ganga. So this path, he was sitting there and plucking all the weeds, the small plants, and with holding his chashma in that hot blistering sun, he's sitting and doing that. So Vishuddhananji Maharaj was also young at that time, and he saw this and he felt pity for this old man, very old man. And he was sitting and plucking those weeds, and every day, with so much of nishtha, faith, every day sitting and doing that in the hot sun and unable to do, sometimes lying down there, but again sitting and doing that. So one day he told him, "Apni kano ita korche? Why are you doing this? Others will do it, you're so old, you can't even bend, and why are you doing? I don't like it. You don't do it." Then that man said, "Thakur amake boleche. Thakur has told me to do it." Then Maharaj said that, "When did Thakur tell you? How? When did he tell you?" Then he said, "You don't know. That time I was a very young lad. I was a young boy. And what happened was, it's so thrilling actually, this story. One day this young boy saw, it was night, everybody had gone to sleep. The whole temple garden was dark, that those days no light. But he saw, this boy saw some kind of a blue light in Panchavati. Not Panchavati, sorry, that Beertala. You know Beertala? The place where Thakur performed tantric sadhana. It's at the far corner of the Dakshineshwar Kali temple. He saw in that Beertala a kind of light emanating from there. This child, he was only a child. Then he ran to see what is there, and under the bel tree, he saw Thakur sitting in complete samadhi and a kind of glow coming out of his body which was blue in color. And Thakur is just effulgent, luminous in that light and absorbed in samadhi. Now this child saw that, and actually he says Gaya Kata Dilo, he was so thrilled. But then he also got, fear came into him. What is this? And he ran back. He saw that and ran back. Next day, that night he couldn't sleep. Next day he saw Thakur is coming from Panchavati side. He is coming back to his room. And this boy rushed forth and saw his face and fell at his feet. No exchange of words. He just fell at his feet. And then Thakur said, "Kire aaj tore to bhakti kano? Why so much devotion today?" And then he looked at his face and he couldn't say anything. He was just shivering. And then Thakur said, "Oh, he is the Antaryami, he knows everything. Oh, yesterday you saw me in the Beertala. Remember that figure. meditate on it, and keep this path clean. Thakur said this to him. Meditate on that form. He would not say my form. Meditate on that form and keep this path clean. So then this gardener is telling Vishuddhanaji Maharaj, so I am doing it today also. Thakur told me. See, this is Thakur's instruction to all of us. Meditate on him and keep your path to God very clean. Your karma yoga, your bhakti yoga should be faultless, stainless. Your entire bhav should flow towards him no matter what you do. And then Vishuddhanaji Maharaj left him because that is his path to the divine. Thakur has instructed him, keep this path clean, because so many devotees will go to Panchavati. So you see, the instructions are very clear. Meditation, you don't know the impact of meditating on God's form. Don't think he became avatar just like that. It is the most sattvic manifestation of the divine. With no element of rajas or tamas. It is a divine body. When you meditate on it, your mind becomes divine. That is why in all pujas you have for some time meditation, isn't it? Why? You must think of the form of the Lord, and then his bhav will come to your mind. The nature of that glorious mind, totally bereft of negativity, passion, and utterly filled with the consciousness of God. That will get imprinted on your mind. You will become like that. That's why Devam Bhutva Devam Yajet. The equations are very clear, How do you become divine? By meditating on the divine. So, meditation and spiritual practice is most important. Many people, this is where they sort of compromise. Because today I'm not feeling good. Today it's easy to do work, it's easy to be busy, it's difficult to be still, it's difficult to concentrate on the Lord. But if you practice, that will become the sweetest thing in your life. And every day, if you are immersed in sweet devotion to God, what more do you need? Tell me. That's the fulfillment of life. You yourself will say, I don't need anything more. So if this has to happen, devotional practice, the practice of meditation and spiritual discipline is very important. Japa, for those of you who are initiated, see, the mantra itself has intrinsic power. It has the bija in it. All you have to do is practice in such a way, only that reverberates within you. You start hearing the mantra after some time, not just repeating it. That will totally turn your mind around, There are so many such practices given to us. All that you have to do is invest time and energy into it. Prioritize it in your life. I am so happy in the home I am living with Abhijit and Jyoti. I am living just now. The whole house is full of photos of Thakur, Ma, Raman Maharshi, Arunachala. The whole house is full of that. Thakur himself used to say this, you remember? In the gospel he says, you keep Queen Victoria, her bhav will come into you. you keep Thakur, you keep Shri Ram, that bhav will come into you. Whatever you worship, you will get that bhav. So please see, if you keep these things around you, you will be impacted by them. So bhakti sadhana is very easy. We know these things. Only thing is, get into them seriously and do it. And meditation is actually like churning the mind. Actually meditation will bring to the surface all your sanskars and purify them. It changes all things that need changing. Do you know the story of Samudra Manthan? All of you? Who doesn't know the story of Samudra Manthan? Okay, some of you have not heard. So I'll tell you that story because it is about meditation. Samudra Manthan is a figurative, allegorical story telling us the beauty of meditation, what it does for you. See, how does the story start? Again, these two groups are fighting, this Devas and Asuras. So actually, they are in us. The positive and negative thoughts are fighting. Now, for Samudra Manthan to become possible, these two should come together, which means you meditate with your whole mind. So it so happened that Lord Vishnu tells these Devas that because their numbers were decreasing, this periodic quarrels between the two, and the population of the Asuras is increasing sometimes and the Devas is decreasing. So Vishnu tells them, you go and catch hold of that Amrit, nectar of immortality. It's in the ocean, and that way your numbers will go up, and we'll make sure the Asuras don't get it, and that way you will thrive. So now the great plan is to somehow get that jar of Amrit. See, Amrit in the jar is actually, you have to get the Amritattva within you. So he says that, okay, I will help you towards it. But then make friends with them, because we need their energy. See, you need the energy of your negative thoughts also for meditation to become possible. Because you don't meditate with one part of your mind, isn't it? You have to meditate with the whole mind, or you don't meditate. That's all. So you have to make friends with all the negativity of your mind also to retrieve that energy. Vital energy has got invested in anger and resentments, but now for now you make friends with that. And what they did, Vishnu tells them that to churn the ocean, you require this Meru Parvat. So that is symbolic of the axis of your perception and meditation, which is your spine. Meditation is conducted along the spine. I don't know if you understand this, but meditating on the heart, this is all, it's a way of handling your vital energy. You're lifting energy to the heart. By keeping the spine straight, you're making sure your entire energy is, the capacity to lift it is there. It's only when your spine is straight. Have you seen this? Any animal walks straight, they are always on force. Leave out the chimpanzees, they are also tilted actually. They're completely straight, they are not completely straight, and not for a long time. Only the human being is the only species on earth which walks straight, because your spine can hold the weight of your entire system and your vital energy can be forced upward. That is the purpose. So we may be walking straight, but if we are behaving like not able to raise vital energy, we will become like animals. So the point is this, that your spine is the axis. So Meru Parvat is the axis now in this allegory. And then this Meru Parvat has to be churned with what? It has to be churned with a rope. So they catch hold of Vasuki, the king of serpents. Who's the Vasuki in you? Kundalini. Correct. It is the Kundalini. That mass of vital energy which can be forced through the Sushumna. That is actually Vasuki. See, this, when you internalize religion, it becomes spirituality. All these stories are only meant to tell you, you must attain the state of yoga, the state of meditation, that is union with the Absolute. So Vasuki has to be caught hold of, which means awaken your energy towards the divine. Raise it. And then what did they do? The two parties, they put Vasuki around Mount Meru, and then the Asuras on one side, the Devas on one side started churning the ocean using Mount Meru. So the entire mind is being now put into meditation. And then slowly, one by one, all that, of course the mountain tilted, and then Vishnu came to the rescue as Kurma, as the tortoise, all that is there, which means the divine will help you at every step. You take, Thakur says, you take one step towards him, he will take 10 steps towards you. In fact, if you actually see, everything in our life is a miracle, isn't it? The fact that we are breathing, the fact that this entire physical system is supporting us, supporting our will, the fact that the mind has beautiful bhavs, everything in life is a miracle. Every leaf is a miracle. The grace of God is ever there. We are not seeing it, that's all. Moaning and groaning over something which is self-made. This is how we are. But everything in life is really grace. Grace is being showered on us all the time. Acknowledge this. Let us acknowledge this. So, at every step, the divine helps these two groups. And then, what comes up as a result of that journey? First, some good things come up. Like all the ocean yields lots of gems and pearls. When you meditate, beautiful bhav, beautiful thought, devotional sentiments, and consolations. Beautiful, you can say, the bhav of God, godly bhavs will come into your mind. Lot of devotion will come into your mind. So these are the pearls and gems which the ocean yields for you when you churn. Halahal also will come out. Halahal also will come out. All the hatred and anger and whatever has been put into your subconscious will also come out, but Lord Shiva is there. With a certain amount of self-knowledge, you can overcome this halahal. Self-knowledge is that knowledge which consumes the poison of our life. And then Ucheshravas comes out, Mother Lakshmi comes out. All the benign, beautiful aspects of life will come into your mind as you churn the mind. It is such a blessing to be able to effectively meditate. The most beautiful things will come into your mind. The greatest consolations of life, deep inner devotion, steady devotion, complete awakening of your energies towards the divine. All this will come. And then finally, what happens? That Dhanvantri comes with the Amrit. As soon as he comes with the Amrit, now you are getting a foretaste of immortality through your meditation. The asuras go and try to grab it. So the negativity of your mind will try to slur, will try to contaminate this Amrit, the immortality of your soul. How do you overcome that? Again, Vishnu will come to your rescue. He came as Mohini, he came as the enchantress. See, he will help you at every step. Vishnu, who is Vishnu in you? Your higher intelligence. Your higher intelligence, your Dhi Shakti will come to your rescue, and you will know who should be empowered with the Amrit, who should get the Amrit, and who should not get the Amrit. So only the divine within you will come to the forefront as a result. Only the Devas will get the Amrit, and the Asuras will not get it. And finally they die out. So it's a symbolic representation of the meditation process, Samudra Manthan, in the Puranas. This is what will happen as a result of meditation. You will develop a super refined mind, incapable of negativity, and completely divinized, as it were, and empowered with this Amrit, immortal mind. When the mind touches the self, it becomes immortal. Isn't it? You remember that incident where Thakur told Swamiji, Narendranath, that time he was sitting at Thakur's feet, and Thakur tells him, look, if I hold a cup of nectar or honey and you are a fly, how would you drink that honey? What did Swamiji say? So Swamiji says, I will sit at the edge, because if I go to the middle, I will drown. And then what did Thakur say?
Dive into it.
You don't drown in this cup. This is the cup of immortality. You will become immortal if you drown there. Because by diving into consciousness, can you become unconscious? You will become fully conscious, completely conscious. So God is that Amrit the very heart of divine consciousness. If you dive into that, you will become immortal. So meditation alone will teach you how meditation is, where it gets you, what it brings in, what finally comes into your life. Yogo yogena jnatavyo, yogo yoga pravartate. Without meditation, there is no spiritual life actually. So you see, for devotional life, we have outlined a few very important points. What are they? Let's summarize. First, sattvic life. Second,
Keep God in the heart. Keep in the heart.
yes. Some amount of ritual puja, something of this sort, seva, is required in life. And then satsang. Then
Meditation.
practice, spiritual practice, and meditation. So if all of these are combined, you will see bhakti grows in your heart day by day. Pratikshana vardhamana, they say. All the time, really bhakti is like this. You will find bliss spurting through in your heart all the time, like madhu. So you are in a state of perpetual bliss, no matter what is around you. Why? You are in touch with the divine. Somewhere your mind has touched pure consciousness. So you're always happy. And not that you don't require synthetic joys, like your mobile. Or anything to entertain you. You don't require that at all. That is why the absorption of the saints, isn't it? It's a state of real deep absorption. See, compared to all this, the world is real madness. Crazy. It's crazy. So these steps, as I said, just follow them. The sattvic life is very important because now you are in a position where you can invest energy into this. Do it and see for yourself. Life will be such a blessing. And without this, it is really it can be so unfulfilling. See, even my very young students sometimes commit suicide. So that makes me feel it's only they are not able to stop mind. That is the problem. It's actually working against them. And the thought process is not stopping them. Where they shoot themselves when they want to commit suicide? Here. They want this to stop. When there are practices like this which will naturally transform your whole thing and give you so much of bliss in life, why should you not adopt this? So that's why I told you the really intelligent get into devotion. It's the most intelligent way to live. So let me end the talk here and let us take a Q&A.
Many times it's been said that the Bhagavan gives the bhakti, like he's very crippled about it. He will not give the bhakti. He will give everything. That's the last thing that he will give. Why would it be said like that?
Because it is so precious. It is so precious. It's like platinum, not even gold. Where it comes in small quantities. It's so precious. There's only little of it. That's why it is expressed like that. There's a Bangla song, Mukti dite khatar noi, bhakti dite khatar noi. The meaning is this only, that I am reluctant to give bhakti easily. The Lord is saying, but I give mukti because it is so precious. It is the cream of life's experience.
That's that which is beneficial to millions. Why would you just give it?
No, that's a figurative way of saying the fitness for bhakti is required first.
Yes.
Because even if grace is there, Bhakti requires a mindset which is very, very subtle, pure, sattvic. How many people are like that? Tell me. See around you outside and tell me how many people can be like that. So even if it is, Thakur used to say the wind of grace is blowing, set forth your sail. So we are unable to set forth our sail.
So we should ask that, right? That's what.
Why will he not want to give? It's a figurative. You see, devotees are quarrel with God also. Only person you can safely quarrel with is yes. So if the devotee is arguing with God that you are too jealous, you don't want to give me, then God says that you give your entire mind to me and I will give you bhakti. It's that easy. So, but our own mind is not in our hands. What will we give it? This is our problem. All masters have spoken of this. Give your mind, entire mind, and it will be done. Thakur says this in so many ways in the gospel. Mon niye katha, he used to say. To mind. All sadhana is with the mind, please see. To be able to give your mind entirely to God. Raman Maharshi used to say, give me the mind and I will strike it down. Yes. So it's not easy to collect the whole mind because it's right now we don't know where it is, how it is, not in our hands, what will we give. So only thing is pray that this becomes possible for you. Isn't it? We should be like children in front of parents before God. And then He'll do the needful.
Yeah, Pranam Mataji. A question about bhakti. In Gospel, Thakur talks about 3 levels of bhakti. Right? He says, lowest form of bhakti is someone who says God is there.
Yes.
But a higher form of bhakti than that is when one realizes God is the inner dweller of everyone, Antaryami.
Yes.
But the highest form of bhakti is God alone is everything.
Yes.
So is it a gradation? You talked about the worshipping God physically. But should that, in Thakur's gradation, looks like that's the lowest form of bhakti.
Yes.
But does it automatically graduate to the highest form, or is there additional practice that's needed?
Yes. See, the form of bhakti which I spoke about, it is the practical first steps of bhakti. Many times, we waive the basic and we are going straight into Advaita Vedanta. We do such things because our mind is like that. But that is why I spoke of these primary steps. But what Thakur is saying is, you see, Thakur always said the highest devotion and the highest knowledge are one and the same thing. So this is very true what he is saying. Initially, you will think God is outside of you, extra cosmic. And so you worship Him as another being, another form, another name with attributes like that. But gradually, it will graduate into looking upon Him as the Antaryami, the indweller. He is the self in me. And the highest form of bhakti, Thakur says, is to see that He is all that there is. So when I realize this self in me, I will see you as me in another form, isn't it? So that level of realized Advaita is the highest bhakti, where you don't see duality at all. In fact, you see the divine shining in so many forms. All, great sadhus have seen it like this. I can give you the example of Mahapurush Maharaj. In his reminiscences, Swami Shivananda, Thakur's direct disciple, he was the guru in Belur Math at that time. And so, in Guru Purnima, a huge line in Belur Math, they come to bow down to the Guru. He also would bow down to them like this. Then, by that time he was old. So they told him, why are you bowing down? Then he said, but it is Brahman. I'm seeing only that light in particular forms. Hazily I can see the form, but it is God bowing down, so I'm bowing down. See, the vision is like that. So when you transform your own consciousness, you change your perceptions. You switch your perception. But if you have not transformed God, your consciousness as yet, better worship Him as. Yes. As long as you think you are body, you can only worship Him in form. See, these are the great equations of the spiritual life. As long as I think I am a body, I am an individual, I am a personality, I can only worship Him as a greater personality. Deha buddhya tu dasosmi, jiva buddhya tadamshakaha, atma buddhya tvamevaham iti me nischita mati. Once Sri Ram asked Hanuman, how do you look upon me? Hanumanji said, when I think of myself as the body, I am the servant and you are the master. When I know myself to be an amsha of you, a part of you, then when I think of myself as the jiva, and with, the self is, then I am a part of you. You are the whole, I am a part. But when I think of myself as the Atman, pure consciousness, then I am one with you. So it all depends, all these stages are based on what is your concept of yourself first. Tell me, what is the concept of ourselves? How do you... Swamiji once made a very interesting observation. He said, as long as when you say I, the picture of your body appears in your mind, so long you are a dualist. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So remember this. The I sense, until it is transformed and divinized, you actually cannot worship the impersonal. You may be doing a lot of intellectual gymnastics, inquiry, but it's not yet realization. Realization is a total consumption of your ego, and only the light of the divine shines forth. So the equations of spiritual life are quite clear. As long as I'm a person, I can only worship Him as on the altar there. That's why we have, see, Hinduism has this beautiful way of putting ideas into practice in everyday life. That is why we constructed temples. In the Vedic age, there were no temples. Yajna was the yoga of the Vedic age, not temples. Not this form of worship. Later we made it like this. Why? Because we understood these laws. I think I am an individual, I am a personality. Then I can only worship Him like this. So step by step, take it rightly. And remember, Advaita is an anubhav. It is not even a sadhana. It is not about thought. It far transcends thought. It is pure consciousness experience. So until you get it, better use these transformative tools. Be wise, isn't it?
Namaste Mataji. So just to get it clear, like for getting to the pure devotion state, we have to work towards reaching to the Shunyatva. Like clearing your thoughts and everything to nullify, so we have more room to do the devotion.
Yes, that is one anga of meditation. That is correct. Cleaning up the mind, clearing your awareness so that in one stream devotion flows to the Lord. Yes.
Thank you.
So meditation process, there are different ways of meditation. But the primary requirement of meditation is the decluttering of your mind. So that the essential thing shines forth there. Whether you call it awareness or the form of God, whatever, that should shine forth. For that you should declutter the mind. Empty mind. Yes?
Namaskar, Pravrajika Divyanandaprana. If you have the thoughts of God in your mind all the time, then you can see Him in many things in the world. For example, in nature.
Yes.
And I think that nature can really bring you close to God.
Very good. I believe you. Absolutely. I'm always running away into nature to experience that. It's a natural shrine, these spaces. Anywhere you go, mountains or lake, ocean fronts, you always get the sense of the vast. And your ego drops and stillness enters your system. It's a shrine.
Namaste. I wanted to ask, how do we offer our not best work to God? If we are to offer everything to God, sometimes we don't necessarily always do our very, very best. And so then how do we, with good conscience, then offer that?
Yes. See, if there is anything you find negative or not up to the mark in your life, how to offer that to God? Don't offer it. So the pain of not being able to offer something to God will make you better the situation. Because you can't offer something not good to God, isn't it? It's a very, very human relationship which you should try to form with God in bhakti. The secret of bhakti is you humanize the divine and divinize your emotion. That's the process. So as you would not offer something to, say, a parent which you yourself don't like, or you can't have it, you can't eat it. You won't offer that, isn't it? Something like that. You won't offer it to him. But then the pain and the guilt of not being able to offer, that itself will change your ways of doing. So, turning your bhav to God, that is the main thing. Even this Amrit story, the Samudra Manthan story, you see the nectar of immortality is right within you. It is your self-knowledge. Not that Dhanvantari brings it from somewhere. When you churn the ocean properly, it will unfold within you. The consciousness will come into prominence. Thought world will recede. So that is what the story actually is trying to tell us, that Amritattvam is already within you, extracted through meditation. And in meditation you will get all this. You will get the poison also, you will get all good stuff also. Make the right choices and dive in.
Namaste Mataji, thank you very much for all your words. So the question I had was, I had heard a lecture of Swami Yasheshanandaji where he had said this line, that you have to act as if it is all real. And
Act as if?
As if it is all real. Mm-hmm. And I like the line because it has double innuendo to it, because if you see the real, then you act in a way. Mm-hmm. But the question was connected to Holy Mother. She had an ability to allow the emotions to flow between her and the people she was with. She was able to cry with them. Thakur would always would come with sort of a higher level experience. But how does one do that? You can have God centered in your heart, but to someone who needs to just feel your love, how do you do that without sounding condescending, or without trying to say something to someone who just needs you?
Mother, that's why mother is mother. You can't compare her with anyone. Really, she would do this. How spontaneously it would happen. See, what we call empathy today, putting yourself into the shoes of another. This came so naturally to her. And actually speaking, the heart of the illumined person is like that. It will reflect perfectly what is in front of it. So somebody coming to her with pain in their heart, like that lady who lost her son, and mother cried out so loudly that people were left wondering that who lost the son. And mother reacted in that manner because the heart and mind of an illumined person is empty. It will reflect what comes in front of it. And it it completely overtook mother's mind, and she would just pour it out at that moment. Her entire life and her service, her attitude, that's why she is the working model of Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda's philosophy. The heart of a saint you can know, of a realized person. And who can tell, Ami satero ma, asatero ma, tell me. I am the mother of the virtuous and I am the mother of the wicked. A wicked person's mother, see, a psychopath or serial killer's mother will disown him. Biological mother. But mother is saying, even they are my children. I am their mother too. So she has given us infinite hope. There is no comparison with mother of anyone, I'm telling you. Swamiji himself said this. When I think of Sita, I feel Ko-Rama. He said this in reference to mother, which means when I look at mother, you can't compare her with anybody else. Mother's blessings are 100 times more valuable to me. Such comments Swamiji has made. What he has spoken about mother is really unbelievable, what Swamiji has said. Mother's grace and blessings are paramount to me. I'm a little bigoted about this brother, he would say. But for me, mother is everything. Do you know what he has said about her life? Why she came? Swamiji once wrote to a brother disciple, Swami Shivananda. Mother has been born to revive that wonderful Shakti. And with her as the center, once more that revival of Shakti will come and Gargis and Maitris will come out. That is why she has come. Such a stainless, pure life. Expressing the highest ideal in such a mother figure. You know, because we have mother in our Sangha, she is the Sangha Janani, we are saved. Once I think it was a Buddhist monk, he told one of our sadhus that I'll tell you a great secret. You people are really blessed because you have a mother. We yearn for a mother figure because to whom will you relate? With mother only you can relate. Completely, isn't it? As a child. You have that in your order. And where will you find such a mother? Tell me. So benign in all aspects, so utterly pure. So you see, we are very blessed. If you just think of mother, the mind will rise. She came to demonstrate the motherhood of God. Otherwise we wouldn't know.